Do you want to know the fastest and most likely way to become a millionaire? It's not through real estate, it's not through crypto, and it's not through playing the stock market. More millionaires are created through business ownership than any other wealth building strategy out there. However, over 90% of all businesses that are started will fail. Today, I'm gonna give you a step-by-step blueprint of everything that you need to know about starting a business with $0. I've started businesses, I've run businesses, I've run some businesses into the ground, I've even sold a few businesses. I've also built the #1 fastest growing digital marketing agency in Australia. I've generated my clients over $7.8 billion in sales. You are gonna get absolutely slaughtered. The #1 most important thing, bar none, 80% value, 20% pitch. The #1 skill in business, which is... So what is a business? Most people just overcomplicate it. They think that they need to have the most brilliant idea that is so unique that no one else has ever thought about it. They have a list of all their business ideas and they're like, somebody's already done that. And then they cross it off their list and they never go out there and they start the business in the first place. And that is just the most ridiculous thing ever. And it's actually the worst framework to actually start a business, because the chances are that if no one else is doing what your idea is, it's because it is a shit idea and there is no real need out there in the marketplace. A much better framework to look at is, what is a problem people are paying large sums of money to solve? That there are lots of competitors in that market solving that problem, because the problem is so big that even if there was thousands, if not millions of people that were providing solutions to that problem problem would be insatiable, and you would be no way that you'd ever be able to have enough people in the marketplace to solve that problem, because it would always be present. The first business that I ever started, before it was even a legitimate business, was when I was at university, and I was selling gray market boxer shorts. I had a part-time job doing telesales, I was doing full-time university, and then I started this business on the side. And I saw a market, I won't mention the brand name, of people that were going out there and buying these briefs and buying these boxer shorts in large quantities, and everyone liked them, and they were very expensive. It wasn't some revolutionary business idea. I saw a need and I got a product to solve that need. And the way that I marketed that while I was at university, I created a bunch of different flyers and I went and I put them in all the students' lockers. Then I started to do cold outreach to all the different student email addresses. And I had a burner phone that was a different cell phone number. That was the call to action. There was no website, there was no fancy funnel, there was no PDF or brochures or any of that stuff. It was just a basic flyer with a telephone number on it, the price, and a call to action. This burner phone would just not stop ringing. And I had a tiny 49cc scooter, and I used to ride around like a delivery man selling these things door to door. Then from that business idea, I started another business that was selling water filters online. I had e-commerce businesses selling children's toys. Everything that you can think of, I have pretty much sold it. And a lot of these businesses, I fell into the trap of looking for a hot market and looking at what was trending. I didn't think about what was the problem that these businesses solved. I thought, what would be good to sell? That is a fundamental flaw, and I had to learn that the hard way, and I had to pay for that in full. After doing all these like little ghetto side hustle businesses, I was accruing skills and foundational skills. How to do SEO, how to run Google ads, how to get a website set up, how to run funnels, what ad copy was. And I used all of those skills as a very long depth and foundation to then go on and build King Kong. It was all done by starting with $0 from my bedroom with nothing more than a laptop that my girlfriend had bought me, and loading literally whatever money that I had, was like $35 at the time, into a VoIP account and started cold calling businesses. Fast forward 5 years later, and I had the 17th fastest growing business in the whole of the country. And it's easy, it's the old adage of like, they are overnight success, but all overnight successes are years in the making. And what you don't see is all the long line of failures and heartaches and all the skills that it is that I had to acquire in order to first get me in that position. And the number one thing that taught me beyond everything else was the number one most important thing that you need to think about when starting a business, bar none, is the market that it is that you're gonna serve. And the number one criteria that you want is to sell to a starving market, a market that has an insatiable hunger and a need for you to go out there and solve that problem. How can I solve this big problem in a better way than anybody else that is currently doing it? Your offer needs to be a painkiller solution to that problem. You have vitamins, you have supplements, and you have painkiller solutions. And a vitamin offer is something that is a nice to have. It's like you don't really understand the true benefits because you don't have a bleeding neck or you have an urgent problem that needs a solution. You want to create an offer that gives that prospect an immediate fix and an immediate solution to a problem that is absolutely burning, that is keeping them up at night, tossing and turning in a cold sweat. Now, when it comes to starting a business, there are so many different options. And there are so many gurus that are flooding your newsfeed that you see out on the internet every single day saying this is the best business opportunity to start. And the reason that it is that they're telling you that is because their business is in the business opportunity space. And they make money by making sure that the vehicle that they are presenting to you looks the most illustrious and makes it look the most exciting and sexy, easy, lucrative, and fun, and the easiest way for you to get going and to start making money. The issue that I have with this is that it's typically looking at a trend. It's looking at some type of arbitrage that exists in the market where there is a small amount of opportunity for you to get involved in that business opportunity and make money. Whether it's TikTok shop or drop shipping or e-commerce. Now, I'm not saying that they are not incredible business opportunities, but the most foundational thing is to not look at the business opportunity and what seems hot and sexy. And the reason that I believe that that is a horrible lens to look through in order to start a business is because you end up getting into a vehicle that it is that you're not passionate about. And you're not looking at the big macro trends of how big of a problem this is. Is this something that I would continue to do and that I could work on for 10 to 12 hours a day? Because the reality is that a lot of people say, look, it doesn't matter what the business is, if you like it, if you can make money, that's the only thing that matters. That is terrible advice, because if you're going up head to head with somebody in a business category that is very passionate about that category, and they could spend 15 hours a day working on it, regardless of whether or not that they were gonna get paid. And they had so much curiosity that they were constantly researching, iterating, trying to find better solutions to solve that problem. And then you've got you, and every single hour that you spend on this business opportunity is a grind, and you're always looking at the clock, and you always want to be doing something else with your time other than working on this business. Who do you think's going to win? You are going to get absolutely slaughtered and murdered. And the reason that I know that is because I have been put into those situations. And it was only once I looked at a market that had a big burning problem, and then I created a painkiller solution to that problem, and I could work without looking at the clock because it was something that I was so passionate about that even when my mind was idle, I would be thinking about this business. I was doing something that felt like play to me, but looked like work to others. And it is impossible to compete with an individual that feels that way. They are gonna work longer, they are gonna work harder, and they're just gonna keep on getting more reps in that chosen field and focus and obsess on the customer and the market more than you. That is by definition how you win the game. So at this stage, you might be like, oh, well, what business should I start then, Sabri? Well, the best place to start is by simply looking at where are you allocating your time now. Go to your YouTube search history. Go look at your Amazon order history. Look at where it is that you are spending your time. And then have a look at the marketplace. What is a problem that exists through this lens that I would be able to go out there and get strangers to give me money for? What are people already buying that are associated with your interests? And that's the best place to start. You are already spending your time and energy on those things, and the chances are you're not getting paid to do them. So if you can get paid to do them and you already enjoy doing it, you're gonna be able to do it for longer periods of time. You will be able to stay in the game and keep playing it longer than the people that are just looking for a quick buck. Once you've selected, okay, what is the idea of what it is that I wanna start looking through that framework, there's gonna be a little voice in your head that starts to whisper sweet fuck-alls in your ear. And it's going to tell you,
it's not the right time to start a business. You've got all this other stuff that's going on in your life right now. Somebody else is already doing that business idea. That opportunity is already taken. The ship has already sailed.
Maybe you think that the market is cooling off and you think, hey, this used to be really big like 6 months ago or a year ago. I feel like it's on the tail end now, so I'm not gonna start it. Well, look, I've got news for you, right? There is never going to be a perfect time where the clouds part and the angels sing. And it is very, very clear that this is the best time to start a business. That time never comes. That voice might start to get a little bit louder and start to say to you,
you don't have money to go and start a business. Where are you gonna get the money to do this? You're gonna need to go out and get outside capital. You need a beautiful logo. Who's gonna build the website? You don't have the skills in building a website, and that takes money.
These are all a claim to a lack of resources. However, there are countless people that have been in the exact same position as you are, in a less fortunate upbringing, with less resources and availability, or born in a less fortunate country than you are right now, who have started a business and who have been wildly successful. It's never ever that resources are the reason that people aren't able to be successful. The real reason is a lack of resourcefulness. There's always a down and dirty, scrappy way to get things done, just to go from 0 to 1. Movement is better than meditation, and you have to get some momentum. And there's never gonna be the perfect climate in order for you to go out there and start a business. It's never gonna be the perfect time with just the right amount of money coming in and no other problems that are going on in your life. That doesn't exist. So you need to find a way to get going regardless. Because if you feel ready to start the business, then you're starting your business too late. No one ever feels ready when they get going. And you can always look at someone else and you can look at their chapter 10 and think they're so put together, their product's so good, their website's so great, but they all started exactly where you are right now, just putting one foot in front of the other and getting it going. And another sin that I see people make when they start a business is they spend a disproportionate amount of time and energy on the shit that doesn't matter. They spend months on picking a domain name and setting up their Instagram and having a pretty grid, coming up with color Pantones and branding guides, logos and business cards. Don't get me started, right? Because most people, they like to do the things that are easy and aren't confrontational and that they can do in their own little safety bubble, like creating a logo. And it's because that is the sexy shit. Business does not come from having a logo and having a brand or picking a domain name. It comes by going out there into the marketplace in front of strangers and asking them to buy your product or service. All right, so here are 3 actionable steps that you can start right now today in order to start your own business. The first step is to think about what a dream buyer avatar looks like for your marketplace. So who is the ideal customer that it is that you're going to be selling to? And the best way to start is by looking at what are the other proven products in your marketplace that you know are selling. And you can do this by looking at the number of reviews that they've got, the number of social media followers that they've got, and you can start to read chatter online in Reddit and other places. If someone is selling a lot of product, there is going to be lots of people talking about it online in terms of forums and reviews and social media followers and looking at the community and how they engage with that brand. And once you've identified, say, 5 proven products in a marketplace, now it's time to do something that I call the halo strategy. You want to start reading what is the 2-star reviews, the 3-star reviews, and the 4-star reviews saying about these products. What is it that they love? What is it that they hate? Why did they only give it 2-star and they didn't give it 1-star? If someone's given it 2 stars, you know that they wanted to give it 1 star, but there was something about it that didn't allow them to actually feel okay with leaving them a 1-star review. And you want to start to think about, what are the shortcomings of this product? What are the things that are really great? What are people that are enjoying about this? And that is going to form the framework of what it is that your product or service is going to deliver on, and the things that it is going to do that the current solutions aren't doing, or they aren't doing to the best of their ability. I like to create a competitor matrix where I put all of the landing pages of all the people that are in that marketplace, all of the ads on Google and Facebook that they're using to send traffic to those landing pages, then what is it that they're selling? What is the price point? And what is the offer or guarantee that they are providing in order to sell that? And this gives you an X-ray view of the marketplace. Once you do this, it is a very enlightening exercise, because before you do this, you feel very overwhelmed and you don't really understand what's going on. You make the path illuminate as you walk it. And the second step that you want to take is, once you have done all of this, it is going to be very apparent where the weaknesses in this market are. And you are going to expose them using something that I call a Godfather offer. And that is an offer that is so good that your prospects simply can't refuse it. One of the things that's really important to understand, that in business, in every single transaction, that risk is present. Whenever you can tip the scales in the prospect's favor and you can burden the majority of that risk, it is going to be very difficult for your prospects to say no to you. An easy example of this is, you're selling a product online and you are very confident with the outcome that someone will experience by purchasing either your product or service. You're gonna be willing to offer, say, a 30-day money-back guarantee. Nothing fancy. And the way that most people think about it is, they're like, oh, like, Sabri, I just can't do that. Like, that's just too aggressive. Like, there's no way that I'm gonna be able to go and do that. So the exercise that I like to do is, you wanna sit down with nothing more complex than a basic piece of paper and a pen. Forget about what it is that you can deliver on. You wanna forget about any of the legal implications of the offer that you're about to make to your market. And you wanna think about, what is the most desirable offer that you would possibly be able to make to this marketplace. Forget about being able to deliver on it for now. We're gonna get to that in a moment. Just write down the best offer that you believe that it would be very difficult for people in that market to say no to. Once you have that irresistible Godfather offer, then what you want to do is, you want to start removing things one at a time to arrive at a place that you would actually be able to deliver on that offer. Because it is the complete opposite of how most people approach creating an offer. What they do is, they go out with a lackluster, vanilla, dog shit offer, and then they start running ads, or they start cold outreaching to people. They start getting in front of their marketplace and making this offer, and then they realize that there's just a bunch of resistance. That is a sign that you have a shit offer, because people don't want it. It's very easy for people to say no to. That is what we call a resistible offer, not an irresistible offer. And you want to start from an empowering place of making the most compelling, outrageous, and enticing offer that you can, and then slowly wind it back to a place that you can deliver. There is nothing that you will be able to do in starting a business that is more important than getting your offer right. You can have average ads, average funnel, and a complete Godfather offer, and you can have a wildly profitable business. And I see this all the time with people that come into my business that are running very rudimentary funnels, but their offer is just so good. Once you have those two things in place, you're gonna actually need to do the logistical things of setting up a business and being able to actually transact and take strangers' money. The most down and dirty way to do this is, if you're in Australia, you set up using an ABN. If you're in the States or other parts of the world, you wanna set up as a contractor. You don't wanna set up like an LLC or have a limited liability company and get too fancy in the beginning, because you are gonna have a high likelihood of failure. And then you wanna set up a basic way to be able to go out there and transact with your marketplace, whether it's Stripe or it's a PayPal account, or whether it's just a business bank account and that you're sending out invoices manually in order to be able to go out there and get money. But none of any of this matters if you can't get your first customer. And in order to get your first customer, you're gonna have to get good at the #1 skill in business, which is sales. The first legitimate business that I ever started was selling water filters online. I had to learn that it was very, very difficult to sell a product that there wasn't a raging river of demand for. I live in Australia, and before the huge wave of people being very health conscious and really wanting to know what was in the water, people had the idea that it was completely fine and healthy to drink tap water. I found myself constantly in the situation where I was trying to have a convincing argument with people and tell them about all the known contaminants that were in tap water and why they needed a water filter, rather than having a compelling offer that just immediately goes out to a market that is starving for a solution and then gives them that solution in a way that reduces the majority of the risk for them. And then you realize very quickly, like, hey, I've got all this stock, I've got a warehouse, I've got this website and these hosting fees. I am not getting an income. And you realize very, very quickly, unless you possess the ability to be able to go out there and get customers and be good at that and have it so dialed in that it is a repeatable and predictable action that it is that you take, then running a business is literally one of the most stressful things that there is. But once you do get that sorted and you do understand how to go out there to a market that is starving for what it is that you want, and you have the ability to get attention and then convert that attention into actual customers, then running a business can be one of the most freeing exercises you do. You only have a business when you have the ability to go out there and to spend money and acquire a customer, and you're making more money at the end of each month than it costs you to operate. Then, and only then, do you have a business. And I will tell you what I believe are the single best ways in today's day and age to go out there and to get customers if you have $0 to spend on ads. So the first way is, regardless of whether or not you're selling a product or you're selling a service, is to start creating organic content. It used to take years to build an organic audience and to get enough traction to get that content to rank and to be able to go out there and get customers. Thanks to TikTok, where now you can create a piece of content and literally with 0 followers go viral and start to get traction in a marketplace, this is actually a viable strategy. And the way to do that is to simply go onto TikTok and to search for the big, what I call Coliseum keywords. In every market, there is a Coliseum keyword, and that is a specific thing that people are typing in order to get entered into your world. You might be a personal trainer and the thing that people are looking for is weight loss. The word weight loss is a Coliseum keyword. You take weight loss and you go onto TikTok and you think about how to lose weight, weight loss programs, best way to get shredded, and then you'll start to see the content that is doing very, very well in that category. That starts to give you ideas of the type of content that you need to create in order to service that search demand that people are searching for content on these platforms in order to find solutions to their problems. And if you do that exercise and you think about 2 or 3 Coliseum keywords, and then you keep on populating that list by all the other recommended searches that come up for you, you're gonna have a long, long list of content ideas to go out there and start creating content and getting attention. Another excuse might come up is, I don't know how to do this. I don't have expensive camera gear. Thanks to this old puppy, anybody can just get their phone and start creating content. There is no excuse. And the reality of it is that the content that looks the most native and is shot on a phone is the content that does better in today's day and age. Start just creating content. You're gonna suck like all things in the beginning, but the more reps that you get in, the more feedback that you get through, and you start iterating your messaging and how it is that you present and the type of questions that you answer in your content, then you're gonna start to get traction. And you wanna start looking at what is the content that's doing very well, what is the first 3 seconds? What are they showing on screen? What are they saying? What are the first 10 seconds, the first 20 seconds? What's the call to action? What's the story? What's the editing style? And if you spend enough time looking at this stuff, iterating, applying that stuff to your own content, it's only a matter of time until you start to get content that hits. And that is what we call free traffic. And I say free because all traffic comes with a cost. But what we're using in this instance is what we call human capital. You're just using your time and energy to create the content, to go out there and get the attention in the first place. And then you start switching up the call to actions and things that you say at the end of those videos. And you'll start to get people that say, hey, you have a very good solution to this problem. Could you just help me solve this thing? Can I just buy your product? Can you just help me through consulting to get this outcome? And if you're selling a physical product, people are just gonna come through to your store. Even if you don't make a call to action, they're gonna go to the link in bio and they're gonna go through and suss out what it is that you've got. From being on Shark Tank and literally seeing countless pitches come through the door, this one strategy alone is what I saw that was responsible for more businesses having ridiculous sales with zero outside funding to get started in the first place. And it is the best way to go out there if you're selling a physical product and you don't have large amounts of money to run ads, to validate your product, to go out there and to start selling and start getting traffic. Now, the second way is if you're selling a service. It is going out there and doing what we call cold outreach. I did it in the form of making 150 cold calls to businesses every single day that were running ads on Google and saying, hey, I can see that you're running these ads on Google. How's that working for you? Would you like to know a way that you can get ranked on the organic listing of Google, get 5 times the volume of traffic at typically 1/3 of the cost of what you're paying for your Google ads right now? That is what we call an irresistible offer. And then I would get a huge percentage of those people that would be like, yes, I would like to find out about that. And alas, the sales pitch begins. If I had to start today, I probably wouldn't start with cold calling. I didn't have any tech know-how, and I did not want to allow any excuse to get in the way of starting this business. So I just defaulted to my roots, which was cold calling. However, in today's day and age, there is a smorgasbord of ways to do outbound and to do cold outreach that have a lot higher leverage than doing cold calling. You can use websites like Fiverr and Upwork, and you can find professional lead acquirers, people that will go out there and they will build a list of leads for you. You can be like, hey, I want to speak to real estate agents in Chicago. I want to speak with business brokers or wedding photographers. And these people have all types of tech and scraping tools that they go out there and they build a list of these prospects for you. Once you have that lead list, you can reach out to those people using cold email. You are going to get a percentage of those people that reply to those messages and say, yes, I am interested in finding out more about what it is that you've got. Just that process there is invaluable. That is what really allows you to validate your offer and your business. And then you take all of those learnings that you've got and you put a little bit of money aside every month. Like a little squirrel hoarding nuts for the winter, you're gonna put some money in an account that you have no emotional attachment to, and that is your marketing budget. And then you wanna start dabbling with paid ads, where you can, instead of using human capital, you can use financial capital to go out there on Facebook and Instagram and Google and YouTube and TikTok, and you can put a message in front of your marketplace by paying to amplify what you already know works through your organic efforts to start getting customers coming in a repeatable, scalable way. And that's where things really get exciting and really get unlocked to a whole new level. However, once you've done these activities, an important distinction to make, it is very rare that people are gonna buy in the first interaction with you, whether it's organic content or it's your first cold call or cold email outreach to those people, because the fortune is in the follow-up. Whether that's creating organic content and having a big content bank that people can go and consume a lot of your video and a lot of your content, because then they feel like they know, like, and trust you. Or whether you're first outbound emailing somebody, the first thing that I hear is like, hey, I didn't get many responses. And I'm like, yo, like how many emails did you send? And they're like, 2. I'm like, dude, like you're just not getting enough volume in. The fortune is in the follow-up. And the reality of it is that there's such a small percentage of transaction takes place in those first 1 to 2 instances of you being exposed to somebody. But that's what most people do. But where all the money is made is on that last mile, because that last mile is the least crowded. You don't just want to follow up and be a unwelcome pest and just be like, buy. You want to do something that I call, which is value added follow-up. And you always want to be providing value to your marketplace, and everything that you put out, whether it's a piece of organic content or if it's an email outbounding on somebody, it should be 80% value and 20% pitch. And if you think of it through that lens, you will never run out of things to follow up on someone about. Most people call a prospect and they're like,
yeah, I'm just following up on the proposal that I sent.
Instead, you want to follow up about the problem that they've had. You know, what was the issue? How can you help them solve that? Doing an audit of their website, just articulating things to them in a way where every time they engage with you, they take something away, whether or not they choose to buy from you. And if you can do that, and if that can be the guiding North Star and the compass for all of your marketing initiatives, then things will inevitably work out for you. That is the 80-20 of marketing. Is just provide more value to your marketplace before your customers become customers. And if you can do that, then all of your marketing efforts become infinitely easier and much more powerful. So now that you actually have a channel to go out there and get customers, and you've gotten your first customer by this stage, now is where the rubber meets the road, and you actually have to deliver on the product or service and fulfill on that in order to collect cash. And what I have found from running businesses for 17 years is typically you get 2 schools of thought when it comes to business. You get the product people that are like, it's all about the product and the fulfillment, and that just needs to be absolutely exceptional. And the marketing stuff kind of takes care of itself. Like if the product's good enough, then you'll be fine, right? And then on the other end, you've like, it doesn't matter about the product at all. Your ads just need to be fire, and the funnel needs to be really, really dialed in, and the offer needs to be really, really good. And none of those things are true. What is true is a fusion of them both. You can have the best marketing, you can have the best funnel and the best offer, and then if you don't deliver on that, you're gonna constantly be doing the exercise of going out there and getting more customers and more customers and more customers, and you're gonna have a completely leaky bucket. On the other end of that perspective, if you've just got a great product or service and no one knows about you, then you don't have a business. You have a very, very stressful and unprofitable hobby. You really need to be so dialed in on the sales side of things, and then you need to surprise and delight your customers in order to keep them with you for many, many years to come, because you do not want to be in the order business. You want to be in the reorder business. You want to bring customers in and fulfill on the promises that you made, but not only fulfill on them, you want to over deliver on them. You want to have a service that is remarkable, that would justify your customers leaving a positive remark about you to somebody else and staying with you for long periods of time, so that your lifetime value of a customer increases because you over-delivered on the promises that you made in your marketing and in your messaging. And that whole relationship is a very profitable exercise for everybody that's involved. Your customers are delighted, they're surprised, they're happy. That solves the problem better than what it is that you said it would, then they stay with you for long periods of time, then your business makes more money, you have a higher lifetime value of a customer, and then you can spend more money on ads or on content to go out there and attract those people to your business in the first place. I really learned about the importance of fulfillment when I started my digital marketing business. I was out there making 150 cold calls a day to business owners, getting customers on. I was doing all the hunting by day, and I was doing the farming by night. I would deliver on all the client work throughout the night to wake up in the morning and to go hunting again. Doing those clear distinctions of activity and working like an absolute maniac for the first year of my business is what allowed me to then have enough money to start actually running ads. But then I found out I was helping my clients with all of this other stuff that they didn't even sign up to my business for. I was initially had one offer, and that was to help my clients rank at the top of Google in the organic rankings. No funnels, no paid ads, nothing. Even if you asked me, I couldn't help you with that. However, I went above and beyond that basic offer, and I became like a business consultant for these people. I was reviewing their product photography, their catalogs, their pricing, their offers, and this was all well and above what they were paying me for. But it did not matter, right? It was about surprising and delighting those customers. I got my business up to 70 active clients before I hired anyone in my business. I was working 16 to 18 hours a day. It was very unhealthy. I would not recommend it. But I did not lose a client because I over-delivered on that. And then I came up for air 12 months later and had a huge pile of nuts, AKA money, that I had accrued from going out there and doing those two activities of getting customers and then surprising and delighting them so that they would not leave me and they would worth so much more to my business. And then I took that money and I rolled it all into ads and into team and infrastructure in building a business. But when you get started, it's probably just gonna be you. It's gonna be a one-man army doing all the fulfillment, and things are gonna get wild very, very quickly. Most people start a business because they don't wanna have a boss. And then they realize instead of one boss, you've got 10 bosses or 20 bosses or 30 bosses being your customers. And there will inevitably be a period of your business where you're gonna be overworked and you don't have any team members and it's just you. And I'm gonna tell you the exact frameworks and the things that I used in the beginning to be able to have 70 active clients and still acquiring new customers, surprising and delighting my customers as well, and continuing to grow my business. So it started with just me. And the way that you wanna think about it is you wanna create like a checklist and an SOP. And every single service that you deliver and every function that you do in your business, you need to have a checkbox of like, I first do this, then I do that, then it's step 3, step 4, step 5, step 6, and you wanna just bullet point out all of those little activities that you need to do, as redundant as it seems, that it gets done every single time. So that when you inevitably onboard a team member, you've already got the SOPs and all those individual checklists already built out in your business that they can just follow and execute to fulfill on those customers. And by doing that, it's just dotting the I's and crossing the T's and not relying on having exceptional operators within your business, but having exceptional systems to deliver on the fulfillment for those clients. But everything that we have spoken about up until this point right now, how do you start a business? How do you think of the idea? Then how do you go from 0 customers to getting your first couple of customers? All of these things, they will create a job for you. But if you want to go from being a business owner to a business builder and to actually becoming a millionaire, then you have to get this next skill right, and that is marketing. My business didn't really take off until I went from doing this one-to-one selling and being in the trenches to then taking that sales message and creating ads and marketing that instead of cold calling on 150 businesses a day, I could call on 150,000 businesses in a day by reaching them through ads. Marketing's sole job is to make sales easy and to make it where people have a desire for what it is that you've got. That's when you start to unlock the free cash flow in your business that enables you the ability to go out there and hire people so that it's not just you anymore. You're not just a one-man army. You build a team of people that you are now responsible for leading. And that's when you start to get leverage. That's what actually makes you wealthy as a business owner, is when you start to get leverage on your time and you're starting to build a system and build a business that delivers on solving that problem at scale. And that's how you become a millionaire. Because every single business out there, it lives and breathes by its ability to market and to go out there and actually get customers. And I created a whole video of everything that I have learned about marketing and all the steps that you need to go through to master that skill. And you can go ahead, watch that video now. I hope you enjoyed this video. Like, subscribe, and I'll see you in the next one.